It is very hard to find good horror. The horror genre is bloated with low-quality movies, games, and even books. And for me personally, it is even harder to find good horror because my taste in horror is very specific. I like atmospheric horror and horror that plays off of our fear of the unknown, since it allows my imagination to fill in the blanks. And if there's anyone who knows how to truly scare me, it is me. As it turns out, there is a genre of horror that fits those parameters, and it is analog horror. Now, for those who are unaware of what analog horror is, its top definition on Urban Dictionary is a subgenre of horror told in the manner of a classic analog style, typically using an old-school, pre-digital style when presenting lore, using things such as television broadcasts or infomercials, and generally nostalgic styles. Most often presents itself as a web series. I didn't find out about the genre until fairly recently, and let me tell you, analog horror is truly horrifying. But this video isn't about the genre as a whole, it's about a specific web series in general that I found. So what is the Monument Mythos? Well, I'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about how I found it first. Basically, I was just refreshing my YouTube recommended looking for something to watch, and I see this video called Alcatraz Attack, and from the thumbnail it looked like some old historical tape. Now I really enjoy history and old shit, so naturally I clicked on it. Immediately I was greeted to one of the most unsettling videos I've ever seen, and at the halfway point I started questioning if what I was watching was real. So I looked in the description and comments and I realized it wasn't. What I also saw in the comments were theories about the lore, which piqued my interest enough for me to go to the channel and watch more. And boy, am I glad I did. But what actually is Monument Mythos? Well, it's an analog horror web series created by a man called Alex Canis. I think I said his last name right, I have no idea. And it's uploaded to a YouTube channel of the same name. Before Monument Mythos, Alex posted other short horror films to his channels, which aren't too bad. His short film Perfect You is horrifying, and I definitely recommend watching it. Now, I feel like I should preface this before I continue. For this video, I will be mainly focusing on Season 1 of Monument Mythos for a few reasons. For one, Season 2 isn't finished yet, and also Season 2 is different enough from Season 1 to the point where I think it deserves its own separate video. But yeah, Season 1 consists of 11 short films. There's not really an order to watch them in, but they all take place in a shared universe. But why do I enjoy this series? There are a lot of factors, and I'm going to break them down in this video. For starters, these videos feel real. The aesthetic of the videos gives it a found footage vibe, which is only heightened by each video's description having a archivist's note, and the channel's about page saying, "sharing my findings with the world." Because of this, it is very easy to get immersed in Monument Mythos, which is very much to the series' benefit. Now, when it comes to horror, and especially analog horror, presentation is key, and man, has Alex hit the nail on the head with the Mythos presentation. Of course, there's the immersion I just talked about, but it goes much deeper than that. I'll start with the sound design. These videos sound unsettling. They all have this creepy ambience noise blaring in the background. Also, in most of the episodes, Alex uses the audio to create a sense of rising tension, except it's done in a way in which you hardly notice that it's the audio creating that rise of tension until after you're done watching. Now, I can't talk about the sound of Monument Mythos without bringing up the fucking music. I swear, these videos would be not as fun to watch without the soundtrack. I'll play some of the songs so you can get an idea of these absolute bangers.
The night is like a lovely tune. Beware my foolish heart, how white the ever.
Now, most of, if not all of the songs used in Monument Mythos are just 50 songs that are slowed down with effects put on them, but damn is it effective at adding to the eeriness of the episodes. The music also creates a nice contrast between itself and what is actually happening in the episode. Another good thing about the sound is the voice acting. The voice actors are all extremely talented, especially the ones who do not speak English. I think one of the best vocal performances is the Italian girl in the episode Freedom Faller. Also, whenever a character speaks, the music will cut out, which, not to sound like a broken record, but this adds to the creepiness factor immensely. I got one more thing about the sound design and then I'll shut the fuck up about it and move on to something else. The sound effects are so creepy. Every one of them has this grinding, ear-wrenching feeling. The best example of this is whenever an episode cuts to a scene where someone is recording with the camera, the noise the camera makes when it zooms in is just bone-chilling, just blah, blah. Alex also uses a lot of screaming and siren noises that are equally as bone-chilling. Now, chances are you're not blind, which means the audio can sound amazing, but if what you're looking at isn't very good, who cares? Well, luckily, Monument Mythos visuals are decent. Alex uses very standard analog horror tropes when crafting the episodes, like purposefully blurring and obscuring images, but that's about where the similarities with traditional analog horror end. To me, traditional analog horror is more news broadcasty, training video type thing. Monument Mythos, on the other hand, is going for, as I mentioned previously in the video, a found footage / historical archive type of feel. It accomplishes this by using historical photos and videos, as well as historical looking documents and blueprints. Also, the found footage parts of the episodes are great, as they are purposefully obscured, letting your imagination fill in the blanks. Although the visuals are good, they are definitely Monument Mythos' weakest aspect. The visuals at times can look a little bit tacky, and the visuals aren't the most disturbing. Like, don't go into this expecting Mandela catalog levels of disturbing imagery. Now, the sounds and visuals on their own are nothing special, but what separates Monument Mythos from some old, dated video you have to watch in history class is its subject matter. This is the part of the video where I talk about spoilers. There are minor spoilers, but spoilers nonetheless. So each episode of Monument Mythos is about a different United States thing. Mostly national monuments, but some episodes feature things like the Air Force One, or it could just be about a certain person like Dean Democracy and Delaware Double. Again, I'm only talking about Season 1 right now. In Season 2, the series goes to places outside of the United States. Anyway, the episodes delve into some pretty disturbing stuff. Like in Liberty Lurker, it is suggested that there's an amalgamation of rotting human corpses living inside the Statue of Liberty. That prospect on its own is disturbing enough, but it's amplified by the fact that the video makes it seem like this is just a natural occurrence in the world of Monument Mythos. I guess I'll segue into the lore part of this video now. Now, this part of the video isn't going to be like Monument Mythos explained or anything. I'm just going to briefly go over some of the lore and how the lore works to the series benefit. So basically, Monument Mythos takes place in an alternate reality where supernatural things occur and supernatural entities exist. An example of one of these entities being the special trees, which act as wormholes between realities. What's interesting is the way we are given this revelation. There are 2 episodes about the special trees, the first being Washington Wormhole. In this episode, we are shown a timeline of the Washington Monument and how it is being built around a special tree. Towards the latter half of the video, it mentions how 19 people had gone missing by the Washington Monument, and at the end of the video, we are shown something growing out of the Washington Monument and a flash of lightning. After the lightning, the video says the 19 people returned and were found at the base of the monument. Now, there's a lot more that happens during that episode, but the main point is there is a tree and missing people, and at first it left me confused. It wasn't until I watched the episode Rockefeller Street Tragedy that it clicked in my brain. The episode switches perspectives from a recording of John Rockefeller and a picture book made by a little girl named Virginia. Basically, Rockefeller finds a special tree and for some reason decides it will be the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Square. Once the tree is in the square, a little girl named Virginia decides she wants to put a star on top of the tree. So she gets a bunch of their friends and they make a human ladder to the top of the tree, and when Virginia puts the star on the tree, lightning strikes from the tree, and her friends are transported to an alternate reality where John Rockefeller becomes president and Virginia and all her friends' organs are backwards. After watching both episodes, I was able to piece together in my mind what the special trees are and how they work. That's what I like about how the lore is presented in Monument Mythos. Some of the connections are pretty obvious, like the one I just talked about, but the others aren't as on the nose, and you will have to pay attention when watching if you want to try and figure it all out. This interconnected and coherent lore of the series makes it engaging and very fun to watch. Well, that's all I got for now about Monument Mythos. I strongly urge you to go watch the series for yourself as well as Alex's other works. I definitely plan to make a video about Season 2, as I'd argue that season is a lot more disturbing and has the scariest episode to me in it. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys want a video where I do my best to explain the lore of Monument Mythos myself. Finally, if you did enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Of course, if you made it this far, you're a real one, and thanks for watching. Happy Halloween.
The night is like a lovely tune. Beware, my foolish heart.